Hey there, everyone. Hey, good morning. If you've been paying attention, you know that we have moved locations. We are now in. Hey there, everyone. Hey, good morning. There we go. Turn off my phone so you don't hear me again and again. We are now in our new location. We moved across the street. Our previous location, we kept growing. We actually started. By the way, this is Jason Sutton coming to you from Firman Power Equipment. Our previous location, we started out with 10,000 square feet a little over 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, and we just kept growing. We moved from 10,000 square feet into 26,000 square feet, doubled our office space, and grew quite a bit more warehouse space. And then quickly outgrew that, and we took some space next door to us, another 13,000 square feet, where we grew to almost 40. And kept taking more and more warehouses over there, and grew to about 65,000 square feet. We've kept growing and outgrew that, and now here at our headquarters in Peoria, Arizona, we've got, I think, about 50 employees who work out of this location. So we really needed more space, and we needed more space for product as well. So we had an opportunity. There was a Tesla location right across the street from us, and Tesla moved out of this location where they were building supercapacitors, and moved that production to one of their gigafactories. So our new building is 128,000 square feet. We're really excited to be in here. As you can see, I'm in the warehouse. Our office space is getting painted and getting carpeted and all new decor, and we're building even more office space. So for now, we've got a whole bunch of our people are working from home. It's great that they can do that, modern technology being what it is. But we're also having a number of our people working here. Our team is just amazing. They've been so flexible, but last week was crazy to say the least. We were actually moving the entire week. Had to get all of our furniture moved and all of our product moved, and so now we're in our new space, and excited to be able to have more resources to be able to serve you guys, our customers who are out there. One of the things that's really neat is that now we have a brand new studio, a new photography and video studio that's going to enable us to get even more content out there, more photos and more videos explaining how to use our products, and more education into the hands of all of our customers. There's the topic today is we're going to talk about our Firman cords. It's funny, we have so many generators, and people are always talking about, well, how do I get the power from my generator to my house, or how do I get the power from my generator to my RV, or to the job site that I'm working on. And something that I think some people may not notice is that Firman actually has a lot of cords, and we're pretty proud of them. I think we've done a pretty good job coming up with cords that are useful to our consumers, and really well built too. A cord is a lot like a garden hose, in that the amount of energy that you want to put through it really requires that you use the right gauge of wiring, use the right cord for the job. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The cords that you see on my screen, we've got an RV extension cord that's down in the bottom left-hand corner. That's a 30 amp RV extension cord. We also now have a brand new 50 amp RV extension cord. I'm one of those guys that camps quite a bit, and I can tell you, that when you buy an RV, or you buy a toy hauler or travel trailer, those things typically will come with a 25-foot cord, and that might seem like a lot, but when you're at home and you want to be able to plug in your RV or your travel trailer or your toy hauler when you're getting ready for a trip, you want to be able to run the air conditioner. I know here in Arizona, when we go camping in the summer, we might be heading up to Flagstaff where the weather's going to be beautiful, but when we're getting ready and we're packing up, for a day or two, it's over 100 degrees outside, and I want to be able to run the air conditioner in my rig and be able to get ready for that trip. I want to be able to run the refrigerator and load up the fridge and have the food be getting cold in there, and keeping ice in the freezer. So being able to reach to your home, where, like on my house, I've installed a 30 amp outlet, But I really need like 75 feet of cord to get to that outlet. These RV extension cords come in super handy. And then there have been plenty of times, when we're staying in an RV campground and you pull in, you back in, and you see the power pole, but they're not always within 25 feet of where you're camping or where you're setting up your RV. So having RV extension cords is really critical. All of our RV extension cords and all of our heavy duty cords, with the exception of the 50 amp RV cord, all those cords are 10 gauge wiring. So they're pretty heavy. They've got a significant amount of copper in that wiring. All that wiring's copper, but when you have a 25-foot 10 gauge cord, it's really heavy duty, and that's really what it takes to be able to deliver that 30 amp power. We also have now a 50 amp cord, and that cord's a 6 gauge cord, so very heavy duty wiring, and really well built. I'm going to go through some of the cords. I'm going to pop over here onto our website, where I can show you some of the cords that we do carry. And I think a lot of people will be surprised at the number of cords that are available. There's everything from 25-foot cords that are 10 gauge, even 14 gauge extension cords, and even cords, little shorty cords like the one you see in the bottom right hand corner, where you can plug that into your generator and get even more 120 volt outlets. So let's take a look at our site and we'll go through some of these cords. There we go. I think you can hear me now. I'm getting text messages saying you can't hear me, but I bet you can hear me now. Um, so, so again, this 50 amp RV extension cord that you see in the top middle, that one's a 6 gauge, 25-foot cord. Use that for your RVs, that big 50 amp RVs that require that power. They're running 2 or maybe 3 air conditioners and they need 50 amp power. That's a great cord. And you can hear me now. That's great. Thank you, Megan. Sorry for a little technical difficulty. The cord that's up here in the top right-hand corner, once again, great cord for bringing power into your home. Plugs into our 30 amp L14 plug that's present on a lot of our generators. It has 4 120 volt outlets on the end of it, on kind of a block. So each set of 2 of those 120 volt outlets has its own circuit breaker, so so you can make sure that you're not exceeding that 20 amp power that you can get out of each one of those plugs. This 1110 cord is our 30 amp RV extension cord. It's a TT30R to TT30P. By the way, if you don't know this already, the P in that TT30P stands for plug. The R in the TT30R stands for receptacle. So that's the plug and that's the receptacle. Once again, all of these cords come with our Firman storage straps that make them really easy to manage. The 1115 cord is again a great cord. It's a TT30 to a 520R. A couple of unique things about this. That TT30 is going to be found on all of our 3000, all of our 2900 to 3300 watt inverters. They all have that receptacle. They have a TT30, which makes them RV ready. What's great about this cord too, though, is that it has three 120 volt outlets on it, and each one of those has its own circuit breaker. What the reason that matters is if you're using this cord to provide power to your house, you might have an extension cord coming from each one of those. Maybe one cord is going to your refrigerator, and one cord is going to your freezer, and another cord is going to a space heater. And let's say in the middle of the night that space heater it pops that breaker. Well, your other two keep going because each one of these plugs has its own circuit breaker built into that plug. This cord here, the 1120 cord in the bottom right hand corner, is a L14, and it goes to four 120 volt outlets. That's again really handy cord if you're using your generator for a power outage. You've got the generator running in the backyard, and you're bringing power into the house. It gives you four 120 volt outlets coming through this 30 amp cord. Let's look at some more. Sorry if you guys are getting a little bit of a delay. We're working in the warehouse here in our new location, and I know our Wi-Fi is certainly not as fast as we'd like. This is a similar cord. It has individual circuit breakers on each one of these 120 volt outlets, and then it plugs into an L5 30 amp receptacle. Again, found on most of our 3650 watt open frame inverters have that receptacle. This is an extension cord for our L14. Again, this is something that you probably use on a work site or a job site where you want to deliver that 30 amp power and get it up to maybe a subcontractor that's working on a house wants to bring that power up to the house. This little short cord here, it's just an 18-inch cord, but it does plug into that 30 amp outlet. Being an L14, it's bringing true 20 amp power to each side of this block, and that block again has separate circuit breakers delivering 20 amp power to each side of the block, so for a total of four 120 volt outlets. Here we have some of our generator utility cords. So these are similar to a household extension cord that you might use at your home, but they're quite a bit more heavy duty than that. Most household extension cords might be an 18 gauge cord. These are 14 gauge cords, so they're very heavy duty. You can use them for delivering true 15 to 20 amp power to all your devices. And these are the kind of cords that you're going to want to use to maybe bring power. After you bring power into the house, you're taking it around this to plug in your refrigerator, your freezer, or a heater, or maybe a small air conditioner. Maybe at the end of it, you've got a power strip where you're charging all your devices like your cell phones and your tablets and your laptops. We make these in four different varieties. Here we see our 25 foot and our 50 foot. These just have a one plug and one receptacle. We also make them in a 25 and a 50 foot that have two plugs and three plugs and three receptacles on each end. Let's see if we can get there. There they are. So each one of these guys has three plugs and three receptacles at the end of the cord. Makes it really easy as you're bringing power into your home to be able to plug in all the devices that you want to charge. One of the things I brought up before that I think is important to point out is that when in a power outage situation, typically your router is going to be off, but the internet's typically still on. So if you can plug your router and your modem into a generator, you can get internet service in your home even during a power outage. Let's see if we can look at some more of our cords. There we go. This 1125 cord is again a 30 amp cord, has four outlets on the end of it, plugs into that L14 outlet that again is going to be found on all of our 3650 watt open frame generators, and it's found on our larger 5700 and 8000 watt generators as well. This cord's really unique. This short cord, what it does is it allows you to go from an L14 to a TT30 and an L5. So maybe you've got a generator like our 5,700 watt and our 8,000 watt generators that can put out a lot of power. They can actually put out 50 amps on the 8,000s. But you want to convert down to that TT30 for 30 amp power to go to your RV or your travel trailer, and you can do that with this adapter cord. Lastly, we've got a TT30 to 3 120 volt individually circuit breaker outlets. So all of our 2,900 to 3,300 watt inverters are going to be able to plug. This cord will be able to plug right into them, and you're going to be able to bring power into your home and use that inverter for power outages when you're in that situation. One of the great things about, I think, using an inverter generator in a power outage, when I talk about inverters, I'm talking about like this one right here in the bottom left, is that they're quiet and they're fuel efficient. So you're running this in your backyard during a power outage. You're not irritating your neighbors. In fact, they wouldn't even probably hear it if it was running in your backyard. And it's fuel efficient. So this will run 9 hours on just under 2 gallons of gas. And I'm back. I think we had a couple of questions that came up. I'm going to take a look here and see if I can answer a couple of those questions. Bear with me here for just a moment. There we go. So we had a question that came from Ernie. Ernie has pretty amazingly, he has almost 6,000 hours on one of our generators, which is incredible. I love hearing those kind of stories. We've had our generators torture tested like you wouldn't believe. I think maybe we've mentioned this before, but there was a massive power outage down in Puerto Rico, and we had folks that were running our generators just nonstop for months at a time. And so, hearing from Ernie that he's got 6,000 hours on our generator is awesome. I think it's just really a testimony to the quality build that people have come to expect from Firman. But his question was running on propane. So he wanted to know, could you run a propane filter? That's not something that we've tested, and I think that's something that Ernie, if you can reach back out to us if you're watching, we'd love to hear about what propane filters you're looking at. And then he asked about running gasoline through the generator from time to time to clean the head. There's a lot of people out there that are running our generators that are dual fuel or even tri-fuel that may never run on gasoline. And one of the great things about running on propane and running on natural gas is that it really does keep the generator running clean. If you have the ability to run on propane or run on gasoline, it's going to make it a lot easier to run the generator and then put it away when you're done, and be sure that it's going to start when you're all done. When you come back to it 6 months later, you can know that jet in the carburetor is not going to be clogged up. When you're running on gasoline over time has a tendency to create a little varnish. There's a jet in the carburetor the hole in that jet's about the size of maybe one wire on a wire brush, and so it doesn't take much at all to clog that jet. And if you're not using stable or some kind of a fuel storage liquid in your fuel, it really you can be at risk at not having the generator start when you pull it out 6 months later out of your garage to run it. So we definitely recommend, if you have a dual fuel generator and you can run on propane, or if you have a tri-fuel generator and you can run on propane or natural gas, there's a lot of benefits to doing that. We actually had one of our 3,000 watt inverters out recently at an event, and it was at a trade show that was outside, and so we were running it all day long on a 20-pound propane cylinder. We had some of our neighbors, some other exhibitors at that trade show who ran cords over to our generator, and had a lot of people getting power out of that generator. And we found that we got about 15 hours of runtime on one 20-pound propane cylinder. So highly recommend running on propane or natural gas if you've got that ability. Let's see if we have any other questions. Harold. Harold's asking if we have any plans to participate in some of the upcoming races for NASCAR. Yes, absolutely. In fact, we're going to be at Daytona 500 in a couple of weeks. We're looking forward to that. We keep one of our wrapped Firman trailers down in Tampa, Florida. And so myself and a couple other guys are flying out there. We're going to grab our trailer and go over to Daytona. If you're not familiar with NASCAR, sounds like Harold is, but if you're not familiar with NASCAR, Daytona is the kickoff weekend for the season. And we'll be right across the street parking lot into a big tailgate. So we'll have our trailers going to be parked in there. I think we've got some celebrities and maybe even a NASCAR driver that's going to come over and sign autographs at the trailer. So we're really excited about that. So if you're in Daytona for the Daytona 500, please come and see us. We'd love to meet you in person. That's always a fun thing. We've got some fun stuff coming up. Here's another question. So I think that's Sylvan asked about finding a 30 amp cord for his Firman. Absolutely. We've gone through a lot of the 30 amp cords. So what you want to do, Sylvan, is you want to just make sure that you get the cord that has the right plug on it that's going to fit into your Firman generator. So all of our 2900 to 3300 watt inverters are going to use a TT30 plug. Our 3650 watt open frame generators are going to use an L5. And then all of our 5700 and 8000 watt generators will have an L14. So make sure that you're getting the right cord for the plug, the cord that has the plug that's going to plug into your generator. Let's see, what other questions might we have? Later this week, we're heading out to Las Vegas on Saturday. Next week, we're going to be at a Matco tool show in Las Vegas. Matco's one of the companies out there that sells Firman generators. We love our partnership with those guys, all the jobbers and all the mechanics that are out there buying their tools from Matco have access to buy Firman generators through Matco tools. I know Megan and Shelley are watching. Megan and Shelley, are there any other questions that have popped up during this call? Going once, going twice. Guys, I'd encourage you, take a look at, poke around on Firman Power Equipment. I'll pop right over here real quick again and show you how you find your cords on Firman at FirmanPowerEquipment.com. You can go to Shop, and then you go to Accessories, and you'll find all the Firman accessories on this page. It includes cords, covers. There's that storage strap. You can pick up storage straps on their own and use those to wrap up all those things that you've got laying around your garage. Natural gas hoses are available through our website for both 10-foot and 25-foot hoses if you're connecting a tri-fuel to your home house. It's a little chilly, and I hope that our Wi-Fi was hung in there enough to be able to do this live stream. Sorry for a little technical difficulty. I know there was a part where you couldn't hear me, but we're really looking forward to our new home. Within the next, stay tuned. I think we've got some new shows coming out where we're going to be talking about our new energy storage system that we call Zero E. It's a lithium battery storage system. We're really excited to launch that new product. And we're going to be on with Dan Carter. He's the director of our product development. You guys maybe you've seen him before. He popped in on one of these maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. And I always love having Dan get in our live feeds. We'll have Laramie on. We're going to talk about running your generators at altitude, where we can rejet the carburetors and make them run even better if you're somebody that lives at above 3,500 feet. I know we have some customers that live, even up in Flagstaff, where it's 7,500 feet. There's a really simple way to rejet a carburetor and get your all the power that you need out of your generator when you're living at altitude or elevation. Is it elevation or altitude? I think altitude is when you're in a plane. Elevation